CBC Sports.
The Winnipeg Arena on a Sunday afternoon as Manitoba emerges from a winter for a Penguins visit. And the Jet faithful assemble in the confines to keep a hopeful vigil for victory. 10,000 points of light. Outside, a little fire and brimstone to add to this revival atmosphere. This hockey team has been under fire from every quarter. Assistant coach Andy Murray claimed uninspired players may be destroying their careers with this statement. Questions about Winnipeg typically begin with W. Who is in charge of this grounded effort? After more than 5 years as GM, 10 years of service, Mike Smith has given way to Manitoba native John Paddock in mid-January. He becomes the coach and GM, which begs the question, what is this team's future? It's compounded by a severed Achilles tendon to the Finnish Flash. Teemu Selanne gone for the season with this injury. But the captain, Keith Tkachuk, has been solid. He and first-year Jet Nelson Emerson must carry the freight. So why are they struggling, this young and talented team? Perhaps the constant contract frustrations of goalie Bob Essensa are a major factor. The missing defense from a Phil Alhousley-generated defense surely is. It all totals to a final inquiry. Where is the win in Winnipeg in this long, cold winter? Today, a victory will be hard to find as the Penguins are the visitors. Pittsburgh is typically successful, but their constant question is, will he play? Mario Lemieux's sweater will not be filled this afternoon. For the 55th time this season, the answer is no. Here in Winnipeg, they are calling it a survival revival. The Jet fans' resolve and loyalty is truly amazing in spite of it all. And yes, there is still hope. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Winnipeg Arena and the carnival that could only be Winnipeg. I'm Scott Russell. The Winnipeg fans among the most innovative in the National Hockey League, and they've done it again with all these flashlights and the revival here at the arena this afternoon. Winnipeg coming off a 19-game winless streak with 2 victories this week versus Dallas and Ottawa. And in that game against Dallas here at the arena, the last minute of play, these fans gave the Jets a standing ovation. The captain, Keith Tkachuk, told me it was truly amazing. It reminded him of the playoffs, and of course, all the Jet players are truly grateful. As for the Pittsburgh Penguins, they are right in the thick of things in the Northeast Division in the Eastern Conference, but Mario Lemieux has played only 10 games this season. He will play no more today. Number 66 has gone back to Pittsburgh, back spasms again. So one of the greats of the NHL will not be in Winnipeg. He has not played here in 3 years. One of the other greats, perhaps the greatest player in the National Hockey League, Wayne Gretzky, continues to chase Gordie Howe, 798 to 801. He's in Chicago. So is Hockey Night's Chris Cuthbert.
Scott, this is the man that's been able to bump even Michael Jordan off the front page of the sports sections in Chicago today. Wayne Gretzky in pursuit of another NHL record. It was about 2 weeks ago Gretzky assessed the Kings schedule and figured today would be the day that he'd be able to break Gordie Howe's record for goals in the National Hockey League of 801, but after scoring just once in 2 games in New England this week, he's at 798, 3 shy of Howe. What are his chances today? Well, Gretzky has 49 career hat tricks, and 9 times in his career he scored 4 goals or more in a game. So there are possibilities, but Gretzky has not scored a hat trick this year and has never scored a goal against Chicago netminder Ed Belfour. But Gretzky's always had a flair for the dramatic, so we'll be watching him closely today and reporting from Chicago as Gretzky goes after his 61st NHL record. And how? Scott?
All right, Chris, we could see some NHL history in the making. The Pacific leaders, the Calgary Flames, are playing in Washington right now. It is Washington leading 2-0 in the first period of play. You know, less than 20 games left to the playoffs for most NHL teams, and still so much is up for grabs in the playoff structure. In the East, Pittsburgh, as we said, right in the thick of things, but that last position is very much undecided. In the West, the Central clubs dominate the upper portions of the standings, with the exception of Winnipeg. They have 17 games left to catch San Jose.
I think they only be realistic if we can continue this for at least 2 or 3 more games. So I told the guys before the Ottawa game we need to put a 4 or 5 game stretch together, and then all of a sudden it could be 7 or 8 points, and there's a month left, and anything can happen. But certainly we have to basically continue our winning ways, and especially right now when we have something going, just keep that going.
John Paddock of the Jets, Winnipeg unbeaten in 3. They've got 2 straight victories. In the booth this afternoon, Don Whitman is back from calling the Scott Tournament of Hearts final in Waterloo. He's joined by John Garrett.
And I know John Garrett is a great fan, particularly of women's curling. But, John, let's talk about hockey. Winnipeg hockey fans might be wondering if there really is a Mario Lemieux. They haven't seen him in this building since 1990, and unfortunately, he won't play again today.
But the Penguins are used to playing without Magic Mario. A quirk in the schedule. This time, Mario just the long flight went back to Pittsburgh. But the Penguins have Ron Francis and Joey Mullen, and those 2 players always lead by example. They work so hard. Joey Mullen, 8-game winners already, and Ronnie Francis, lots of ice time, and at his age, still able to do it on a regular basis.
And obviously, they will have to continue picking up the slack in the absence of Mario Lemieux. If the Jets are going to make a belated run at a playoff position, they will have to depend on Keith Tkachuk, their captain, and Alexei Zhamnov.
Tkachuk has played pretty well through the long drought. He's a matter of confidence with him. He just hasn't been putting the puck in the net until the past couple of weeks. But Alexei Zhamnov, I don't think he realized how important he was to the team. Without Solani and Numanen in the lineup, Zhamnov really has to pick up the slack. And I don't think until about the last 4 or 5 games that he's realized how important he is to this Jet club.
Before their free fall, the Jets had 3 players among the top 10 scorers. Now they don't have a scorer among the top 25. Let's go back to Scott Russell.
Well, Don, the Jets struggle to survive. Wayne Gretzky struggling to catch Gordie Howe's 801 NHL goals. There's a live shot at the Chicago Stadium. Wayne Gretzky, 798. Chris Cuthbert is there. The rest of the country is here as the Pittsburgh Penguins take on the struggling Winnipeg Jets at the arena. We'll have the opening face-off next on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Hockey Night in Canada on CBC is brought to you by Molson Breweries, where every beer brewed is naturally aged and free of preservatives. And by Ford of Canada, where quality is job one, it's working.
The Winnipeg Jets riding a 3-game unbeaten streak. Over Dallas and Ottawa in their last 2 outings. Ken Reagan, who has not won a game since the 1st of February when he beat Florida 2-1, will be in goal for the Pittsburgh Penguins. A surprise starter for the Winnipeg Jets. Mike O'Neill, looking for his first ever National Hockey League victory, will be in goal. Bob Essens has a bit of a leg problem, and as a result, the decision was made to start O'Neill. Veteran Ron Hogarth is the referee this afternoon. Brad Lazarowicz and Randy Mitten will be working the lines.
Bob Essens is on the bench, and that's a good sign for Jet fans that he is able to sit on the bench. He's not in the training room. Mike O'Neill looking for his first win as a Winnipeg Jet.
Wayne McBean takes the puck from the face-off, circles back into his own zone. He's paired with veteran Dean Kennedy. They were together when McBean was a rookie and Kennedy was with the Los Angeles Kings, and they're reunited again with the Winnipeg Jets following the acquisition of McBean by the Jets from the New York Islanders. Kennedy, who has scored just 1 goal this season, drives it into the Pittsburgh zone. John LeBlanc takes a bump along the boards. It's centered for Steen to LeBlanc. LeBlanc, a backhander that just goes wide. Steen trying to keep it in at the point. It's knocked down by Daniels and fired deep into Winnipeg territory. A good early scoring opportunity for John LeBlanc. This line of Romanuk, LeBlanc, and Steen has been very effective of late for the Winnipeg Jets. Samuelson frees the puck to Straka, behind his back to Sandstrom. He's checked by Randy Gillen. Ulanov back after it. He plays it along the boards for Tkachuk. He can't get out against Samuelson. Yager takes a hit, manages to stay on his feet, flips the puck back of the net. Nobody there. Racing after it is Quintal, and Quintal flips it down the ice. No icing on the play as Shell Samuelson goes back after it. Quintal chases it down in his own zone. Plays it back to center ice. Picked off by Ulf Samuelsson. He runs into a hit from Quintal as the puck is fired in. Ulanov starts out slowly for Jamnov. Jamnov gets away from Mullen. Jamnov with a shot off the leg of Ramsey. He picks it up in the corner. Tried to center. Taken by Shannon. Shannon throws it rink wide. Jamnov tried to get it back to him. A lot of traffic in the area. The puck goes back of the net. Brown moves it up along the board. Stevens can't control it. Shannon for Jamnov. Jamnov circles in the corner. Jamnov, nice move, trying to move into the slot. Loses the puck as he's knocked down, and the Penguins start back. Long pass too far for Francis, and it's an icing call against Pittsburgh.
Fans wanted a penalty as Alexei Jamnov working some magic early in this one. Cuts to the middle of the ice. Pittsburgh Penguins, Ulf Samuelsson, Shell Samuelsson playing together. Grant Jennings, who is the extra defenseman, dressed as Eddie Johnson dresses 7 defensemen. That's why we have a hole in the middle on the 4th line. Ronnie Francis, Stevens, and Mullen, the big line. They're trying to get Sandstrom going, playing him with Jaromir Jagr. All back problems, Pittsburgh Penguins. Mario, they said his back wasn't that bad, but instead of flying 5 hours to come to Winnipeg and back, he flew 45 minutes to go back to Pittsburgh.
And of course, they are concerned about having Mario available for the playoffs. Marinov with a shot from the point that goes wide. Mullen tried to throw it rink wide. It was knocked down by Ty Domi, but he couldn't keep it in the zone. Taglianetti with a long shot. Saved by O'Neill. Another shot, and O'Neill got a piece of that one as it came out the other side. Starting away for Winnipeg is Paul Yzerbark. Yzerbark drops it off for Borsato. Borsato centered it. Nobody there, and Mullen starts back. His pass behind Francis. He has to circle in his own zone. Lost at the blue line to Boughton. Boughton couldn't get a shot away. The Jets do drive it in. A big collision involving Murphy and Yzerbark. The two of them went down in the Pittsburgh zone. Yzerbark heads off to the bench on the change as McBean intercepts a pass at center ice. He has problems with Daniels. Steen can't control it along the boards, and Murphy brings it in. Murphy moving right in front. And they score a centering pass for Brown, and he nudged it past Mike O'Neill.
Fans thought this might be offside, but it's not offside. Larry Murphy does a good job at the blue line, waiting for his team to clear the zone, and then it's a three-way pass. Jets get mesmerized by the puck, and Brown goes to the net. You have to take the man's stick, and right there, Brown goes on Romanek and chips it by Mike O'Neill. No chance for O'Neill. The Penguins moving the puck and passing the puck well.
Well, it looked as though Murphy was going to move right up the middle, splitting the two defensemen, and then Brown had an open net. Centering pass for Romanek. He couldn't get a stick on it. Back comes Brown. Brown is knocked down by Kennedy, who then collides with Samuelsson. Samuelsson and Kennedy did some bumping. Nothing serious developed. Puck kept in the Pittsburgh zone. LeBlanc winds up and fires it wide. Romanek goes to the corner. Loose puck taken in the corner and flipped out of the zone. Back after it goes McBean. He's having some problems with it. 4 minutes gone by in the opening period. Pittsburgh leading 1-0. Here comes Jagr. Tkachuk trying to stay with him. Centering pass. It goes off the leg all the way down the ice. Ramsey is back after it. Being pestered by Gillen. Quintal fires it back in. Left back of the net for Ramsey. To Brown. To Jagr. Jagr had some problems with it. In the neutral zone, it's picked off by Ulanov. He falls as he knocks it in across the line, and in the process, Keith Tkachuk went offside. 15:22 remaining in the first period.
It's a good combination, Kennedy and McBean. Kennedy supplies the physical presence, and McBean can handle the puck. Shell Samuelsson with the elbow on Kennedy after Kennedy had made the big hit.
The only goal of the game scored by Doug Brown, his 16th of the year. That's his career season for Brown. his previous high, 15 goals with New Jersey in the 88-89 season. Straka for Jagr. On the right side for Sandstrom. Sandstrom drives for the net. Ulanov sprawls and knocks it away from him. Centering pass back to Murphy. Murphy gets set. His shot just goes wide. Gillen starts away and behind the play. Sandstrom was knocked down. And Hogarth is calling a penalty, I believe, against Igor Ulanov.
Eddie Johnson says he wants Thomas Sandstrom to shoot more, drive to the net more. And Sandstrom, when he's on top of his game, he gets under everybody's skin. And Igor Ulanov took exception, knocks Sandstrom down, and takes the penalty.
So the first power play of the hockey game goes to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Their power play ranks 17th in the league, operating at a 17.6% efficiency rate. Igor Ulanov with a high sticking penalty at 5'11".
Power play without Mario and without Rick Tocchet. Still has a good firepower, but when you miss Mario on the one side, it really takes one of your weapons away, a very valuable weapon.
Kevin Stevens, number 25, is out there on this power play for Pittsburgh. He leads the team with 17 power play goals. Francis is checked by Shannon, and the Penguins have to go back into their own zone to regroup. Samuelson moves it to Stevens. Stevens got it ahead to Francis. Francis against Shannon. The two battled along the boards. Kept in at the point by Murphy. Boughton back of the net. Clearing attempt stopped by Ulf Samuelsson. Gintel bumps Stevens away from the puck. It comes back to Murphy. Murphy moves it over to Ulf Samuelsson. Back to Murphy. Murphy over to Francis. Francis tried to go cross ice, looking for Ulf Samuelsson. Luciano Borsato read it well.
Jets doing a good job, more aggressive on the puck in their penalty killing.
Here comes Gillen with Tkachuk. Gillen shoots, and the puck is deflected high up into the crowd out of play.
And Kenny Reggett congratulates Ulf Samuelsson on a good defensive play. The 2-on-1, Samuelsson timed it perfectly to get his stick on the shot from Randy Gillen. Goaltender appreciated the play. Power play pinch, chipped away. Larry Murphy gets trapped. Randy Gillen is in alone. Samuelsson, perfect timing, gets the stick down, gets it up and over the glass. Eddie Johnson talked about his team's performance in Buffalo. He said the only time they generated any offense was when they had the man advantage. They only had 20 shots on goal. He wasn't pleased with that effort at all.
Randy Gillen had a great line when the team returned home from a neutral site victory in Minneapolis over the Ottawa Senators. He said, I thought we might get the day off. We beat the 1927 Stanley Cup champions. Gillen goes to the corner with Stevens. Stevens moves it back to the net for Brown. Gillen doing a good job of forechecking, preventing the Penguins from getting set up on this power play. 35 seconds remaining in the penalty to Ulanov. McEachran dumps it in. Back of the net. Kennedy plays it off the glass and out. 23 seconds remaining in the Ulanov penalty. Sandstrom forced to circle back by Nelson Emerson. Now it's moved ahead to McEachran. Stevens was going for the net. He couldn't get the puck to him. Mironov plays it off the glass and down the ice, and that should kill off the final seconds in the penalty to Ulanov. The Winnipeg Jets are now back at full strength. Brown, who scored the goal, starts down the right side. Samuelsson flips it over to an open wing. Ulf Samuelsson drives it into the Winnipeg zone. O'Neill leaves it back to the net for Quintal. 12:29 remaining in the opening period. 1-0 the Penguins lead. Lead pass too far for Straka. He and Boughton race to the corner. Straka frees it. A centering attempt. Mullen, a backhand shot. Blocked before it got to the goal. Ty Domi moves it ahead to Yzerbark. Yzerbark flipped it behind his back for Jamnov. Jamnov races in against Mullen. Is spun around by the Pittsburgh player. Jamnov gets it back. Jamnov tried to feed it to the point. It was intercepted. Mullen starts away. Mullen and Straka in across the line. Straka gets it back to Mullen. Mullen shoots and just fired it wide. Brown plays it back to the point. Taglianetti with a shot. It goes wide. From the other corner, Straka. Back of the net. Mullen out front for Taglianetti. A save by O'Neill, and he had Brown jamming away. But O'Neill was able to keep a grip on the puck with 11:38 remaining in the opening period. 1-0, the Penguins lead.
Lots of Penguin fans throughout the NHL. Lots of fans hanging around the hotel looking for autographs today, and the Penguins are very obliging doing that, and are playing a very good first period, outshooting the Jets 5-0 at this point, as the Jets have had very little offense going. It's been all Pittsburgh, although the Jets played much better when they were short-handed than they have at even strength here in the first 10 minutes.
McEachran against Gillen in the face-off circle. Gillen wins the draw. Kennedy flips it around the board. Shannon can't get it out. Well, I guess he did get it out before Larry Murphy managed to drive it back in.
After the big trade, the Pittsburgh Penguins have put a lot of pressure on Larry Murphy, and you talk to those around the Penguin organization, and they feel there will be a deal made before the trade deadline. They got rid of 2 defensemen, Marty McSorley and Jim Pack, and have not replaced them. And you feel that I don't think they can go into the playoffs hoping to win it all with just Larry Murphy as their key defenseman.
There are many people who anticipate a lot of movement in the National League before the trade deadline. Penalty call against the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Winnipeg Jets will get an opportunity to send their power play out for the first time in the hockey game.
Marcus Naslund, who saw very little ice time Friday against Buffalo, the hook on LeBlanc, he reached over LeBlanc's shoulder. Had he reached from underneath, he might have got away with that one, but he reached over top and takes the hooking penalty.
Well, John Paddock sends out a power play unit now that ranks number 11 in the National Hockey League. But, of course, he's missing the big gun on the power play, Teemu Selanne, who is out for what will almost certainly be the balance of the regular season, and unless the Jets make the playoffs the rest of this year.
And Teppo Numminen, and you wonder about Numminen's effectiveness when he comes back. Those thumb injuries, it's a little harder to handle your stick. Numminen, a big part of the Jets' power play.
Shel Samuelson whips it around the boards and out. McEachran did a good job at the point of tying up Nelson Emerson, and Emerson was unable to keep the puck in the zone. McBain for Shannon. Shannon dropped it back for McBain. He was not in position to accept the pass. McBain leaves it for Jamnov. Jamnov dropped for Emerson. Emerson had problems controlling it. Tkachuk flips it back of the net. Samuelson plays it around the boards and down the ice as McBain have not been able to get over to the other point. Well, the Jets are really having problems with their first power play of the hockey game. Emerson leads the attack. Emerson, long shot. Saved by Reggett. And the puck is fired down the ice. The first shot on goal by the Winnipeg Jets. Quintal checked along the boards. Here's Jagger with a shot, and he fired it high and wide. The Jets have given up 14 shorthanded goals this year. Only the Tampa Bay Lightning have yielded more shorthanded. Steen flips it up to center ice. The Penguins very aggressive with their forechecking and killing this penalty.
And they use good offensive players, Doug Brown and Jaromir Jagr, and now Thomas Sandstrom and Sean McEachran come over. When you have the good offensive players, you're going to get some shorthanded chances.
Ulf Samuelson flips it back. 18 seconds remaining in the penalty. Just one shot during this power play. Romanuk falls in front of Samuelson as he hits the line. Sandstrom gets the puck, tries to clear, and does. McEachran races after it along with Quintal. McEachran tried to knock it past Quintal and go for the net as the penalty to Naslund expires. Romanuk flips it in. Reggett leaves it for Murphy. Murphy plays it back of his own goal to Taglianetti. Stevens fires it in. Ulanoff Moves it ahead to Borsato. Borsato on the left side to Isabart. Isabart and Borsato in across the line. Drop pass for Ty Domi. Domi, backhand shot, knocked down in front of the net. 8:52 remaining in the period. Here's Stevens looking out front. Taglianetti spun around, or Straka spun around and flipped it in front for Sandstrom, but he couldn't get a shot away. Back after it goes Ramsey. Ramsey flips it to a corner, picked up there by Ty Domi. Back to the point. Ulanov shoots, and that was steered to the corner by Straka. Isabart back to the point to Boughton. Boughton long shot. Loose puck in front. Weigett came diving out after it, and it was cleared to the boards by Ramsey. Boughton waits for his teammates to get onside before driving it in, and the Jets make a complete change.
Jets did a good job on that shift, going to the net, creating some traffic in front of Ken Reagan.
King has it. Goes rink wide for Zhamnov. Zhamnov with a nifty move, and he fired it wide as he went down. Shannon has it back to the point. McBean over to Zhamnov. Quick shot, rebound. Shannon tried to get it back to Zhamnov. Comes to the line. McBean keeps it in. King having problems with Ramsey. Zhamnov gets it. Nice move in the corner. Zhamnov trying to get away from a check between his legs for Shannon. Shannon along the boards, having problems with Francis. Zhamnov comes in to help out. Now King gets it. He can't go anywhere. Shannon has it. Shannon is tied up. There's going to be a penalty against the Penguins with 7:29 remaining in the period. Good pressure by the Winnipeg Jets, and it produces a penalty against Pittsburgh.
Johnny Francis, a holding penalty. Good pressure by the Jets going to the net. Darren Shannon had a goal and assist against Ottawa going to the net. He goes to the net. Francis has got him all tied up and takes the holding penalty.
Well, John Paddock obviously had some instructions to his power play unit for this second man advantage of the opening period. The first time they managed but one shot. Shannon flips it around the boards. McBean will gather it in at the point. Tkachuk dodges a check. Tkachuk over to Emerson. A shot is blocked by Samuelson. Emerson gets it back to McBean. Long shot deflected by Tkachuk wide. Tkachuk gets it in the corner. To McBean. Long shot. Traffic in front. Shannon couldn't get a stick on it. Zhamnov has it to McBean. Over to Emerson. Back to Zhamnov. Zhamnov moves in. Made that extra move, and Weigett may have got a stick on it. Back to McBean. He couldn't contain it. And Emerson has to track it down in the neutral zone.
Zhamnov worked himself right to beside the net and made the save a lot easier than it should have been.
Zhamnov is checked as he circles. Sandstrom knocks it out. Jagger with him. Here's Jagger moving in. And he was checked at the last minute by Tkachuk, but illegally, apparently, in the opinion of Ron Hogarth. Well, Jagger, on the two penalties to the Winnipeg Jets, has had golden scoring opportunities.
Thomas Sandstrom wants a penalty shot for Jaromir Jagr. Jagr was in behind, and there could have been a penalty shot call on this one. Tkachuk from behind. Sandstrom chips it up to Jagr. He's in behind everybody. Tkachuk reaches from behind, hauls him down. The puck had already gone by the net. Shannon and Tkachuk going to the front of the net. Shannon's in deep. Tkachuk out high. Gets his stick on it, and it just went up and over the crossbar. Reagan has no chance. It goes just over his head and over the crossbar.
Now, Keith Tkachuk leads the Winnipeg Jets in goals with 33, and he saved one, probably, with the hook on Jaromir Jagr. Two glorious opportunities to score while killing a penalty for Pittsburgh.
John Paddock said during his drought, his team's drought, that they weren't playing smart hockey, that it was very stupid hockey is how he's described it. And shorthanded, they've done it again.
Jennings with a shot, glove saved by Mike O'Neill. The Jets have really struggled 4-on-4 this year. They have been outscored about 4-1 playing 4-on-4.
They don't seem to recognize danger when they're shorthanded. Nobody reacts until it's too late. 4-on-4, they lose a faceoff, go straight back. Mike O'Neill with a good save.
Gillen and McEachran in the faceoff circle. Gillen wins the draw. Quintana ahead to Gillen. to Thomas Steen, coming in against Jennings. Steen puts on the brakes, tried to drag the puck with him. Quintal following up, shot it wide. Back to Boughton at the point. His shot right on. Reagan flips it back of the net. Larry Murphy, number 7 all-time among defensemen in scoring. Moves it ahead. It's knocked up to McEachran. Picked up now by Jennings. His shot saved. Big rebound. Backhanded wide by McEachran. Murphy checked at the blue line. Puck picked up by Romanek. Romanek leaves it for Thomas Steen. His shot fired wide. Picked off the side of the net by Murphy. Mullen takes a pass at center ice. Tried to move it ahead to Stevens. It was knocked away from him by Dean Kennedy. The Penguins on the power play, but they bring it in across the line offside. Well, let's find out what's happening on the Wayne Gretzky watch in Chicago. Here's Chris Cuthbert.
Well, Don, there he is. Wayne Gretzky, 16 goals in his last 24 games, 3 shy of Gordie Howe's record of 801 as we get set for this afternoon's game between the Hawks and the Kings, and even 99 admitting he's more concerned with the current plight of the Kings. 5 points out of a playoff spot in the Western Conference, and we'll be reporting throughout the afternoon on Gretzky's pursuit of Howe. Don?
And the Winnipeg Jets have the Los Angeles Kings as one of the teams they are pursuing in their fight to try and make up a big deficit on 3 California teams in the playoff race in the Western Conference. The Jets trail LA by 7 points, Anaheim by 9, and San Jose by 12.
Jets have a very favorable home schedule in the last month of the season, and they're trying to look for positives. That's the one positive thing they can look for. Kevin Stevens, everybody says he's had a very difficult year, and it has been defensively. He's minus 20. He gets a lot of his points on the power play, and at even strength, he hasn't played like the old Kevin Stevens.
And when you look at all the scoring power on the Pittsburgh Penguins, it's surprising that he has had the team's only hat trick this season. Jagr off the boards for Brown, flipped in front. Knocked away from Stevens by Quintal, and he fires it down the ice with 35 seconds remaining in the penalty to the Winnipeg Jet captain, Keith Tkachuk. 4:57 the time left in the period. Pittsburgh leads it by a score of 1-0. Jagr working against Boughton. Jagr throws it out front. Francis couldn't get a shot away. Stevens for Jagr, back of the net. Jagr still controls it to the point for Sandstrom. Sandstrom fakes the shot to Jagr. 4 seconds left in the penalty. A shot was deflected high and off the glass as Tkachuk steps out of the penalty box. The Jets fire it down the ice. Here comes Jagr, dodging a check from Ulanoff at the line. Straka picks up the puck. Straka looking for someone to give it to. Tried to go to Jagr. It's intercepted by Ulanoff. Ulanoff had some problems, almost collided with his own defenseman, Dean Kennedy.
Jets very dangerous in their own zone. Last man back, bringing the puck back and under pressure instead of taking the safe play out and off the board.
Straka for Brown, the goal scorer. His shot is blocked by Ulanoff. Moved up to the line, and Keith Tkachuk knocked down by Samuelson, and there's going to be a penalty, a tripping call against Shel Samuelson. 3:50 left in the period, and the Jets will have another power play.
Keith Tkachuk goes by Shel Samuelson. Samuelson knows he's beaten badly. Right in front of referee Ron Hogarth, gets the stick out, trips Tkachuk, and the Jets have another power play opportunity.
Jamnoff, Tkachuk, and Shannon up front. McBean and Emerson on the points. Emerson takes it back of his own net. Being watched by Francis. Now he starts away. He leaves it for Jamnoff, ahead to McBean. McBean gains the line, trying to set up. Flips it towards the net. It's deflected high off the glass behind Reagan. Jamnoff has it. Jamnoff in front for Tkachuk. He turned around and fired a shot that may have been blocked by Samuelson. Jamnoff has it. Jamnoff tried to drag it past Joe Mullen, and it was knocked away from him and down the ice. Jamnoff has made some fine moves, but that little extra move has resulted in the Penguins being able to recover. Back to the point to Emerson. Rink wide intended for McBean. Knocked out to center ice by Mullen.
The best players are your penalty killers. You're going to get some chances. Mullen and Francis, the first group. Thomas Sandstrom and Sean McEachern now out for Eddie Johnson.
Once again, the Jets are unable to penetrate the Pittsburgh zone as Ramsey fires at the length of the ice.
Mike Ramsey, when they're healthy, that's all he does is kill penalties for Pittsburgh. They have 7 defensemen dressed. Ramsey in a limited role doing his job.
LeBlanc races after the shoot-in. He's checked. It comes to the line for Quintal. He drives it to the opposite corner for Romanek. To Thomas Steen. Steen looks to the point. Now leaves it there for LeBlanc for Romanek. Quick save. The rebound. They score! John LeBlanc.
All set up by Thomas Steen in the corner. Steen draws 2 men to LeBlanc, to Romanek off the post, right out to John LeBlanc. Romanek's shot hit dead on the post, and the rebound came right out to John LeBlanc. No chance for Ken Dragon. Penguins got fished in by Thomas Steen. Steen waited, drew 2 men, and created some open ice in front. Romanek off the post, off Reggett, right to LeBlanc, and LeBlanc's there. Reggett, a great save on Romanek in front, but the rebound out there, and nobody had John LeBlanc.
John LeBlanc was recalled from Moncton of the American League on the 19th of February, and he has now scored his 3rd goal to tie it with 2:03 remaining in the opening period. Back to the point, Quintal's long shot, that's deflected wide. Jagger in his own zone to center ice. Ulanov having some problems controlling it. Reed now for Straka. Stevens goes to the front of the net. Straka is hit by Quintal. Jagger goes back at the net. He's knocked down by Quintal. Domi along the boards. Checked by Stevens. Can't get out. Stevens works towards the net. Takes a return pass. His shot is deflected before it gets to the goal. Ulanov now wheels and fires it off the boards down the ice. Samuelson won the race with Yzerbar. The Jets make a change as Ulf Samuelson goes back after it. Long rink-wide pass for Francis. Francis to Jagger. Jagger's logged a lot of ice time in this opening period. Jamnoff gets away from Sandstrom for Shannon. Shannon falls in the corner. King trying to free the puck. He's knocked down by Murphy. And a whistle results with 58.9 seconds remaining in the opening period. The Penguins and the Jets deadlocked at 1. Taglianetti leads the attack for Pittsburgh. Boughton goes back after it. Shannon can't get out initially. He tries to come around the other side for Chris King. Rink-wide pass beyond the reach of Jamnoff. Ulf Samuelson played it back to center ice. Murphy being watched as he circles back into his own zone. 27 seconds remaining in the period. Here comes Ulf Samuelson. His shot goes wide, picked up in the corner by Marinoff. Final seconds of the period ticking away as we've got a battle directly in front of the Winnipeg bench. Sandstrom and Shannon involved.
Sandstrom's lost his helmet in the Jet bench, and nobody wants to give it back to him.
And I'm sure there's a lot of conversation coming from the players on the Winnipeg bench at the same time.
There's Shannon and Sandstrom. Had a bout going earlier. Sandstrom hit Shannon, little tug. And then Shannon wants to create some excitement here in the last minute. Started in front of the Pittsburgh bench. Earlier, Sandstrom from behind on Shannon, and this is what Shannon was upset about. And that's why he reacted like he did. There is going to be some penalties called here by Ron Hogarth. 8.7 seconds. The players will probably just go to the dressing room.
The two coaches, Eddie Johnson and John Paddock, are looking up at the clock.
Although it looks like Shannon is going to get the only penalty. Shannon gets the extra 2 minutes, roughing and high sticking, and Sandstrom just gets roughing. The Jets short-handed to start the second period.
Well, John Paddock has not been pleased with some of the penalties his team has taken this year. They are the third most penalized team in the National Hockey League.
Well, that one, if you're a player, you're thinking, well, okay, we're both going to go off for this one. Start it all, you'd think that that would have been a sob.
8.7 seconds remaining in the opening period. It's a 1-1 game. Doug Brown and John LeBlanc, the goal scorers for their respective. Ulanoff chops it off the boards and out to center. The horn sounds to end the opening period at the game is tied at 1. And now let's go to Chicago Stadium and Chris Cuthbert.
Down here in Chicago, here's a chance for Matteau. Scores! Stefan Matteau as we pick up the action live in Chicago. The Hawks had just killed the penalty, and Matteau firing the shot past Kelly Rudy for his 14th goal of the year. Again, at the tail end of a penalty against Chicago, and Matteau blasts the shot off left wing, and it beats Rudy, who had made a great save a few minutes earlier. Matteau with his 14th goal of the year. Gretzky has played 2 shifts, one as a penalty killer and one on the power play. Yet to register a shot on goal, Stefan Matteau has, and he has the first goal of the game in Chicago. As we go back to the arena in Winnipeg. Oh, we'll hold off for a second. Conacher, McSorley are out now as the Blackhawks open the scoring. Here's Warren Reichel with a shot. Belfour down, and he knocks it to the corner. Marty McSorley trying to center it, cleared by Ruutu, kept in by Sador. Now behind the net, Pat Conacher playing in his 400th NHL game, spread over 14 seasons, and he is held against the boards by Wilkinson. Ruutu trying to clear it. Sador the shot, Belfour the save, and now we'll head back to the Winnipeg Arena. Here's Scott.
Well, thanks very much. Penguins 1-1 after 1 period of play. Coming up next, we'll head back to Chicago and continue the Gretzky Watch on Hockey Night in Canada. Chris Cuthbert is there at the stadium. The score at the end of the first period of play, Pittsburgh 1, Winnipeg 1.
The first portion of Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC was brought to you by Ford of Canada, where quality is job one. It's working.
We welcome you back to Chicago Stadium, where Kelly Rudy has been the busiest man on the ice so far. Hawks have outshot the Kings 7-2. Wayne Gretzky without a shot on goal so far. 7:50 left in the first. Hawks lead 1-0. Here again, Don Whitman in Winnipeg.
Thank you, Chris. Well, the Gretzky Watch continues at Chicago Stadium. There are people who think it would be appropriate if Gretzky were to score his 802nd goal here at the Winnipeg Arena on the 9th of April, because he has scored more NHL goals against the Winnipeg Jets than any other team.
How appropriate. I'm sure the Jets are looking forward to that.
Francis is checked by Boughton as the puck goes to the corner. Francis gets it again. Francis has it in the corner, looks for someone to give it to. Being watched by Tkachuk. The Penguins on the power play. 1:28 remaining in the Shannon penalty. Centering pass knocked down by Quintal. He can't clear. Stevens was looking for Jagger back of the net. Francis pokes it to the corner. Jagger back to the line to Murphy. McEachran back to Murphy. His shot right on the rebound is deflected at the side of the net. Quintal gets it and clears.
And Mike O'Neill made a nice save on the second shot. Kevin Stevens knocked that one down, caught it on the shot from Murphy, and had a good scoring chance.
Murphy, who set up the first goal of the game, tried to move it into Stevens, too far for him, and it's fired down the ice by Quintal. Romanek overskated it. Kennedy with a long shot, steered wide by Mullen. There were two Jets standing in front of Ken Reagan, Romanek and Emerson. And now it's the Jets' turn to be aggressive in a penalty-killing role. Grant Brown drives it into the corner. O'Neill plays it out of the net, and Ulanoff fires at the length of the ice. That's one advantage the Jets do have in goal, with O'Neill between the pipes instead of Bob Essens. He handles the puck better. Brown moves right in. O'Neill makes the save as Brown took his initial shot and then managed to pick the puck up off a skate and go right towards the net. The Jets back at full strength. King can't reach the pass. Ulf Samuelsson throws it to an open wing. Dean Kennedy drives it right back in.
It's hard for a backup goaltender when you're playing once every 10 games for the defenseman to read the way you handle the puck. Even though O'Neill does handle it better, it's hard for the defenseman to pick it up.
McEachran tried to throw it into the slot area to Daniels. Daniels was checked, gets it again back of the net. Tried to center it, knocked away from him. Jamnoff leaves it there for Boughton. For King. King for Jamnoff. He had problems controlling it. King following up on the play, brings it to the line. Knocked out. Back in again where Samuelsson moves it to McEachran. He redirected it up to center ice, and Ulanoff gathers it in for Winnipeg. 17-14 remaining in the second period. A 1-1 hockey game here at the Winnipeg Arena. Pittsburgh scored first, Doug Brown, and then the Winnipeg Jets tied it on John LeBlanc's third goal of the season. Here comes Francis trying to go around Boughton. Francis is knocked down. Mullen following up on the play, got a weak shot away, and there's going to be a penalty against the Winnipeg Jets.
Sergei Boughton fishing for the puck, couldn't get it, took the penalty.
The next portion of Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC is brought to you by Imperial Oil and Esso Associates, who invite you to discover the Esso Tigers' spirit of service.
Sergei Boughton holding at 3:07. Ron Francis had Boughton fishing, reaching and lunging for the puck, went right around him. Boughton sees Francis, reaches, and finally with the left arm tackles Francis and takes a holding penalty.
Well, former general manager Mike Smith's description of Sergei Boughton when he was signed to a contract is that he was the Jack Tatum of Soviet hockey. He made a Jack Tatum move in hauling down Ron Francis.
Good tackle on the play. I don't know whether I'd like that to be described as the Jack Tatum of Soviet hockey.
Francis against Gillen. Gillen's had some success in the face-off circle, and he wins another draw. Murphy being watched by Gillen. Francis can't control the lead pass, picked off by Tkachuk. He comes back, lets the shot go just wide. Stevens starts away. Yager goes wide to the right, takes the pass. Yager gets around Tkachuk, tried to get it back to Stevens, carries on, centered it. Nobody there at the line, kept in by Sandstrom. To Murphy. Francis back to the net for Stevens. They try to play it back to the point. It's intercepted by Tkachuk, who starts away with Quintel. Long shot wide of the net. The Jets change up on their penalty-killing unit. 1:10 remaining in the penalty to Boughton. Romanek picks it up. Romanek comes in with Emerson. Romanek moves in, shoots, saved by Reagan. Murphy did a pretty good job of preventing Romanek from going cross-ice to Emerson. The Jets steal it again. Here's Quintel for Romanek. The pass is beyond his reach.
Great job by Larry Murphy giving the goaltender the shooter, and Ken Reagan stood his ground and made Romanek shoot it right into his pads.
Back at the line, here's a shot by Brown, just wide. Samuelsson at the other point. Puts it into the corner. Mullen is bumped, gets the puck, leaves it in the corner for Straka. Back to Mullen, a quick release, and O'Neill reacted. Brown at the line, over to Samuelsson. Back to Brown. Cross-ice pass, and Straka trying to one-time it. Missed it. Straka in the corner. 10 seconds remaining in the penalty. The the line to Brown, back to Straka. Straka to Samuelson. Samuelson to Mullen. Mullen at the side of the net. Centering pass. Brown with a shot saved by O'Neill, who came out to challenge. Brown walks out from behind the net. He scores! Just as the penalty expired, Brown, who was stopped on a fine save by O'Neill, skated back to the net and was allowed to walk right out front and fire through traffic.
Mike O'Neill makes the original save, comes out, challenges, cuts down the angle, good save, and he gets a bad break. This puck bounces off Stefan Cantel's skate. Brown slides it, it's off Cantel's skate and right through Mike O'Neill's legs. Cantel's tied up. Nelson Emerson doesn't read it very well to come back and help. By the time he gets there, puck's in the net.
So the Brown brothers have each scored a goal this afternoon for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Doug Brown and Mullen both draw assists. Here comes Jamnoff with Shannon. Jamnoff forced to go in deep and couldn't center it. Good play by Grant Jennings, the Pittsburgh defenseman. 2-1 the Penguins lead. The goal by Grant Brown at 5:15 of the second period, just after the penalty had expired. Chris King chops it to center ice. Jennings shoots it back in. McBean goes after it. Shannon dumps it in. Shell Samuelson for Jagger. Jagger goes rink wide. Here comes McEachran. McEachran in the neutral zone is checked. Jamnoff circles. Jamnoff having problems getting away from Stevens. And now Kennedy flips it in. Jennings to Stevens. And it's offside at the Winnipeg line. 13:35 left in the period. We'll return to the Winnipeg Arena after this message. I mentioned that Wayne Gretzky has scored more goals against the Jets than any other team. John Garrett, are you included on this Gretzky hit list at all?
I'm in there for a few. Same division. Only 3, though. I'm rather fortunate. Although the WHA, I let in an awful lot of Gretzky goals in 1 or 2 years he was in the WHA.
Ty Domi races in, but Reagan is able to cover up the shoot-in.
And Wayne is nice enough when they talk about the record to mention all of Gordie Howe's goals that he scored in the WHA and how he would trail Gordie in total goals, pro goals, as Gordie's WHA goals obviously aren't included in the 801.
LeBlanc and Domi flanking Steen in the face-off circle. Straka has moved out. Jagger comes in. Steen unable to move the puck over to Domi. Knocked out to center ice. Freed now for Murphy. Murphy comes in with Jagger. Takes the shot. Saved by O'Neill, and the loose puck picked up by Ulanoff. He comes back for Winnipeg. Ulanoff gets to the line. His shot knocked down by Reagan, and he gathers it between his legs. Now Ulanoff has something going with Peter Taglianetti.
Come the gloves. Taglianetti and Ulanoff. Ulanoff is really strong, but not a real fighter, and he's doing all right against Peter Taglianetti.
Taglianetti, of course, initially a draft choice of the Winnipeg Jets back in 1983, and he was a very popular player during his career with Winnipeg.
Fierce competitor. That's why he was liked by the fans wherever he's played.
So Taglianetti and Ulanoff are heading to the penalty box. 2-1 the Penguins lead. Now let's go back to Chicago Stadium and Chris Cuthbert.
Down here in Chicago, 37 seconds left in the first period. Gretzky back on the ice, still looking for his first shot on goal, and we have to report Chris Chelios has been taken to hospital for x-rays after being hit above the right eye with a clearing shot off the stick of Rob Blake. Here's Curry, 20 seconds to go in the period. Behind the net for Robitaille. Stefan Matteau in the penalty box, and the Kings can't keep it in on this power play. 10 seconds to go in the period. Rudy trying to help his mates out as they move it back into the zone. Curry drops it back. Sador watched by Roenick, and the shot on Belfour, and he'll hold on as we go back to the arena in Winnipeg.
And Chris, here, Greg Brown and Doug Brown have scored the goals for Pittsburgh. John LeBlanc for Winnipeg as the Penguins lead at 2-1 with 13:02 remaining in the second period. Taglianetti and Ulanov each drawing 5 minutes for fighting at 6:56 of the second period. Ramsey tried to knock down a clearing attempt that was flipped high. Greg Brown goes back after it. Ahead to Francis, to Stevens, back to Francis. Francis gains the line. Circles against Mironov. Puck comes to the side of the net. Centering attempt. Joe Mullen was tied up in front of the Winnipeg goal. And Mironov finally knocks it out to center ice. He leaves it now in his own zone, gets it back again over to his defensive partner Boughton. Up to Gillen. Gillen shoots it in as the Jets make a change with Shell Samuelson going back after it. He tried to go rink wide, blocked by Emerson. He steals out front for Eisenbart. He couldn't get his shot away. Emerson now takes a shot. It's blocked before it gets to the net. And McEachran flashes down the left side. His shot saved by O'Neill. Big rebound, and O'Neill manages to gather it in.
A little more emotion in this game in the second period. The Ulanov Taglianetti bout, and now some pushing and shoving in front of the Jet net. Hit with a stick on the follow-through. Zhamnov tries to get it. Samuelson's down like he's dead, but he gets right back up when there's no call. Sean McEachran with the long shot. Mike O'Neill is backing in instead of holding his ground and has trouble with it. Able to knock it down and fall on it.
McEachran against Gillen to the right of O'Neill. Again, Gillen wins the draw. McBean behind his net for Zhamnov. Zhamnov couldn't control it. And now it's picked off by Gillen, but there's going to be a penalty as Doug Brown was knocked down as Zhamnov was having problems trying to pick up that loose puck in his own zone.
Zhamnov got a break. It bounced off Hogarth and came right back to him, and then he coughed it up again. Pulled down Doug Brown. Zhamnov reaches from behind, tugs on Brown's sweater, and again it's right in front of the referee. When you have control of the puck, why not let the guy go? And that's the kind of penalty that John Paddock was talking about when he said his team during this stretch taking very bad penalties.
The Penguins so far have not been able to score with a manpower advantage. Their second goal, scored by Greg Brown, came just after a Winnipeg penalty had expired. Francis, Mullen, and Stevens are up front. Murphy and Sandstrom will play the points for the Pittsburgh Penguins on the power play. Stevens takes a shot. It went off a body wide. Stevens for Mullen. Didn't get to him. He gets it back to the point to Sandstrom. In for Mullen to Sandstrom. Mullen to Sandstrom. He tried to one-time it. Stevens at the side of the net. Flips it across, and it bounced over the stick of Francis. Gillen brings it out to center ice against Sandstrom. Gillen is taken in against the boards, and the loose puck is picked up by Murphy, who starts away with Mullen. For Stevens. For Mullen. And Mullen had it go off the end of his stick. Mullen kicks it to Francis. Back to Mullen. For Francis. To the point to Sandstrom. Over to Francis. For Mullen back to the net. Mullen to the point to Murphy. Murphy takes a return pass at the side of the net. Stevens a backhand shot. Boughton knocks Stevens down. And O'Neill comes out of the net to grab the loose puck.
Keith Tkachuk fell down trying to block the shot out at the point, and this created a 5-on-3. Stevens tried to pass the puck Stevens gets the pass on the backhand. He's looking for the pass. O'Neill cuts it off, and then he's flattened by Sergei Bout. Joey Mullen just misses this puck. A nice setup from Kevin Stevens to Mullen. He's in, tries to pull it to his forehand, and fans on it.
Kevin Stevens has been a big man on the power play for Pittsburgh. He's been on the ice for 47 of Pittsburgh's 55 power play goals this year.
It's Stevens and Lemieux and Francis up front, and then you really can play. Francis plays the point sometimes. Rick Tockett's also on the power play.
Samuelson with his shot. They score! Francis in front of the net, tipped it, and redirected it past Mike O'Neill.
And Ron Francis in the first period was killing the Jets on the faceoffs. And here, again, wins the draw cleanly, goes to the net. It's hard when you're a man short to take the centerman all the way to the net. Francis goes right to the net and gets the tip in. Samuelson, after the faceoff, won by Francis, and he pulls it back. It's hard for a goaltender to react to that. Most tip-ins go wide. Francis pulls it back, and it just slides over the line past Mike O'Neill.
So the Penguins move into a 3-1 lead on the 21st goal of the season by Ron Francis. The first power play goal of the afternoon for the Penguins. Steen in the corner. Frees it for LeBlanc. He turns and tries to get a shot away. It was blocked by McEachran, who starts back for Pittsburgh. Daniels is tied up at the line. Steen has it. A rink-wide pass is picked off. Francis with his 21st from Ulf Samuelson at 9:29 on the power play for a 3-1 Pittsburgh lead. John LeBlanc, who has scored the lone goal for Winnipeg, moves it back to Dean Kennedy. McEachran breaks it up. Kennedy fires it around the boards. LeBlanc misses Steen with a pass. And Romanuk has to take it back into his own zone as the Jets are having problems against the forechecking of the Penguins. Lead pass now for Steen, but it was over two lines with 9:30 remaining in the period. Barry Shankro, the president of the Jets, is obviously concerned. Later this afternoon on CBC Television Sports, World Cup skiing from Whistler in British Columbia, the women's downhill. And they'll be maintaining the Gretzky watch, and should number 99 do anything at Chicago Stadium, they'll have an update for you.
Karen Lee Gartner's last race in Canada.
Here's Jagr in front. A return pass for Jagr, and it was beyond his reach. Jagr back to the line to Greg Brown. His shot kicked to the corner by O'Neill. Sandstrom flipped it to the corner, picked up by Jagr. Jagr tried to move it in front of the net for Straka. He couldn't get to it. Jagr and King battle behind the goal. King takes Jagr down and is going to draw a penalty. Well, the Winnipeg Jets have maintained a steady procession to the penalty box in this second period, and it's costing them.
And it's not Chris King. King does a good job on Jagr. It's Boris Mironov who's going off for interference. King does a good job not taking the penalty. Good hit, little slash, good solid hit, and it's not Chris King who's getting the penalty. It's Boris Mironov in front who's getting the interference penalty. Mironov takes his man in front, and that's the interference penalty. Chris King trying to give his team a jump start, get them emotionally involved back into this game, as it's been all Pittsburgh in the last 5 or 6 minutes, and now they have to kill off another penalty.
Well, it seems in this second period, John Paddock has been forced to play his penalty killers most of the period. They started the second period shorthanded, and the Penguins have added a power play goal for a 3-1 advantage. They scored another goal just after the Winnipeg penalty expired.
The last time these two teams met, the shots were 49-26. A lot less this time, but it's still 18-10 for the Penguins, and they're going to pile it up here again with a man advantage.
Keith Tkachuk doing a good job along the boards of forcing the play in the Pittsburgh zone. He and Gillen are out in a penalty killing role for Winnipeg. Lead pass for Mullen. Mullen trying to drive around Boughton, gets the shot away. The puck comes back to the line to Murphy. Murphy lets the shot go through traffic. It goes wide. Mullen has it again. Mullen frees the puck for Francis. Francis in front for Murphy. Murphy takes a shot. Loose puck in front, and the rebound cleared away from Stevens.
Kevin Stevens missed that chance as the puck was bouncing. Good pass, Francis to Murphy, and another good scoring chance.
Nelson Emerson. A backhand shot that sails wide. Darren Shannon gets the puck, fires it in back of the net. Emerson has scored 5 short-handed goals this year. He knocks it back out to the neutral zone, all the way to Dean Kennedy, over to McBean, and McBean drives it down the ice with 40 seconds remaining in the penalty.
The Jets should try and make Ken Regan handle it. He's not very good at that part of his game.
Here's Straka moving in, over to Jagger, back to Straka, and he couldn't reach it. And that's something that Eddie Johnson was saying about this particular unit. Sometimes they pass the puck too often. Here's Sandstrom now trying to move into position. He's checked, and Tkachuk comes back, working against Greg Brown. Tkachuk overskated it, and in the process put himself offside.
Great scoring chance, Jagger and Straka, and the pass was in too tight. Straka had to reach for it in his skates. Couldn't get to it. Thomas Sandstrom playing pretty well here tonight. Long lead pass to Straka to Jagger. Straka goes to the net. The pass come back. He's not expecting it. It's in his feet, and he can't just tip it into the empty net.
15 seconds remaining in the Winnipeg penalty. 7:08 left in the period. 3-1 Pittsburgh lead.
Joe Samuelson has played a lot. You wonder about the Penguins going into the playoffs. They're old on defense. They have the over 30 crowd back there. And how long can Joe Samuelson last? He has, like many of the Penguins, had back problems throughout his career.
He leads the team in the plus-minus category. He's a plus 17. Ulf Samuelsson throws it back of the net. Daniels takes a shot wide. McEachran leaves it behind the net for Brown. A centering attempt. The puck in front. They bang away at it. O'Neill is down, and it appears to be underneath the Winnipeg defenseman, Stefan Quintal.
The Jets defense fishing for the puck and finally get it underneath, but not knocking anybody down. Quintal and Ulanov in front of Mike O'Neill. They're fishing for the puck and nobody hits anybody. There's 2 shots, 1, 2 shots, and it finally goes under Stefan Quintal. They're still looking for the puck. Ulanov goes to the corner, takes his eye off McEachran, lets him come back into the play. Quintal is down, blocks 1, blocks 2, and then finally gets it underneath his body.
22-10, the advantage in shots on goal for Pittsburgh. Much of that the result of the penalties. Well, the Winnipeg Jets would like to be flying as high as the jet we see landing at Winnipeg International
Except going in
Airport.
the other direction.
Yes. Back to the line, Ramsey's shot, a rising blast that goes off the glass. Jamnoff can't get it out. Francis from the corner. Francis out front, a backhand shot. O'Neill to save. The puck is loose. O'Neill's looking for it, and finally Francis comes up with it. Centering pass intended for Ramsey, and a penalty call has been made by Ron Hogarth. This one against Pittsburgh. So the Jets will have a power play with 6:20 left in the period. Period just getting underway at Chicago Stadium. Wayne Gretzky trails Gordie Howe by 3 in his pursuit of the all-time goal-scoring record in the NHL. He needs 4, of course, to break Howe's record of 801. And Chris Cuthbert is at Chicago Stadium and will keep us up to date on what is going on in the Gretzky chase of Gordie Howe. The Winnipeg Jets on the power play. Romanuk drops it for LeBlanc. LeBlanc shoots. That is deflected. The puck up high in front of the net. Loose puck. LeBlanc took a backhand swipe at it. And with all the traffic in front of goaltender Ken Regan, the puck did not get through.
Good job by Ulf Samuelsson on Russ Romanuk, and Romanuk went right back at him. gave Samuelson the stick in the face.
Rink wide pass picked off by Mullen. His long shot knocked down by O'Neill, and Mullen goes to the bench as the Penguins change their penalty-killing unit. McBean shoot in. Ramsey can't handle it. Steen has the puck. Back to the point for Emerson. His shot kicked to the corner by Reagan. McBean trying to save it at the line as it knocked away. Greg Brown gets to the Winnipeg line, is checked by a sprawling John LeBlanc. Steen for Emerson. Emerson to the line to Quintal, who came off the bench. Quintal goes for the net, lost control of it. Tkachuk picks it up in the corner. Tkachuk circles, tried to move into the slot area, was checked by Ramsey, and the puck goes down the ice.
Jets had a chance with Thomas Sandstrom back in the defensive position, but Stefan Quintal just couldn't handle the puck.
Jamnov weaves his way through center ice. Jamnov for Tkachuk. Tkachuk rink wide for Quintal. Quintal in front to Shannon. He scores!
It's power play. Tkachuk and Shannon going to the net. This time it's Jamnov and Shannon. Tkachuk, good pass to Quintal. He doesn't shoot, gives it to Shannon, and Shannon slides it through Ken Reagan. Jamnov does a good job going to the net, and he takes Ulf Samuelsson with him. That allows Shannon some room, and Shannon uses it to beat Ken Reagan.
Well, during the Jets' problems in January and their winless month of February, one of the most consistent players on the team was Darren Shannon, and he is rewarded on the power play in the second period with his 14th goal of the season. Quintal and Tkachuk draw the assists on the power play goal by Winnipeg. And now it's the Jets at center ice with Ty Domi shooting it in. Some players have not seen a lot of ice time in the second period because of all the penalties. Samuelson banks it off the glass. Ulanov has it at center ice. Rink wide pass. Almost picked off by Jagger. King kicks it back to the net for Gillen. Gillen tied up there by Shell Samuelson. Domi comes in to help out. Domi is knocked down. It's back up and takes Straka in against the boards. King for Domi. Domi is taken out of the play by Ulf Samuelsson, but Domi persists. He continues to battle. Finally, it's knocked down the ice, and Chris King is hurt. And Domi and Samuelsson do some pushing and shoving as Shell Samuelsson gets involved as well.
And Jagger is involved with Domi.
Well, this line for the Jets, Domi, King, and Gillen, was doing some aggressive forechecking. And both King and Domi are very physical players, and of course, Ulf Samuelsson plays the same way. 3:37 is the time remaining in the second period with the Penguins leading by 1. We'll sort out the penalty calls when we return.
Jets forechecking well. Jamnov, Domi, and King. Domi does a good job. Jagger goes down. Ulf Samuelsson tries to hit. The puck comes right through and catches Chris King right in the throat. And no penalties being called by referee Ron Hogarth. Samuelsson was coming through, but that's careless use of your stick. He caught King in the throat, and that brought the reaction. King goes over and has words with Samuelsson.
Well, I thought with the pushing and shoving that took place that there would be penalties assessed, but King comes over and has something to say to Ulf Samuelsson.
Now we're discussing where the faceoff is going to be. The Penguins want it deep in the Jet zone. And it's just inside the blue line.
2:37 the time remaining in the second. 3-2 the Penguins lead. It was 1-1 after 20 minutes of play. Both sides have scored power play goals in the second period. Long shot. Picked up off the boards by Jamnoff to Isabart. Back to the point to Boughton. Boughton lets the shot go. It's blocked by Stevens. Mullen to Stevens. Stevens plays it into the Winnipeg zone. O'Neill tees it up for Boughton. He hammers it around the boards, but not out. Stevens gets it back. Stevens centers it. Mullen, a backhand shot wide of the net. Jamnoff over skates. Stevens has it. Stevens fires a shot that Mullen was unable to pick out of the air. Tkachuk leaves it now for Boughton. Back to Tkachuk. Tkachuk trying to work his way through, and he nudges it wide of the goal. And this time there is going to be a penalty call against Pittsburgh. With a Hockey Night in Canada update, here's Scott Russell.
Don, our Gretzky watch continues in Chicago. He doesn't score this goal, but one of his ex-Edmonton teammates does. Warren Reichel to Charlie Huddy. He fires it top shelf and beats Ed Belfour. That's Huddy's 4th goal of the season. It makes it 1-1 Los Angeles and Chicago.
Larry Murphy takes a penalty as Keith Tkachuk drives through the defense and still gets a good scoring chance as he's falling down. Tkachuk on Jennings, and Murphy goes right through the middle, and Murphy wisely hauls down Tkachuk as Tkachuk was in.
Well, the last time they had a man advantage, the Jets scored to draw within 1. 2:46 the time remaining in the period. LeBlanc, Romanuk, and Steen up front. Emerson and McBean back in the points. Steen to McBean. Back to Steen. LeBlanc for Steen. Steen to the point to McBean. McBean lets the shot go. Save, and the big rebound is cleared out by Samuelson.
Jets power play 11 for 27 in the last 5 games, including today. And doing the simple things, just going to the net, giving the puck back to the point men, letting them take the shot, hope they get a screen goal or a tip-in goal.
Thomas Steen, who reached the 900-game milestone this past week against San Jose, gives it to McBean, but LeBlanc was offside.
Jets forced at the blue line. Wayne McBean shooting it in offside.
McBean made his Winnipeg Jet debut on February the 2nd against Dallas after being acquired from the New York Islanders in exchange for Jan Kaminski.
Ronnie Francis will talk to Scott in the second intermission. You wonder if Ronnie Francis will be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. I think he will. 1,000 points. Led his team in scoring 6 years in a row with the Hartford Whalers. As a Penguin, got his 1,000th point on a tip-in, and again, like tonight, win those face-offs, go to the net, and get the goals.
And with that point against Quebec, he became the 38th 1,000-point man in National Hockey League history. Shannon, who scored a power play goal, has it along the boards, looking for someone to give it to. Tkachuk unable to handle it, and it's knocked out to center ice, where it's picked up by McEachran. McEachran working against Marinoff. The Winnipeg defenseman freed it for Shannon. Shannon tried to get it back to Quintal. And Quintal is having some problems against Sandstrom. 37 seconds remaining in the penalty. Jamnoff now works his way in for Shannon. Shannon back to the point to Marinoff. And finally, the Penguins manage to clear as Quintal goes back after it with 20 seconds remaining in the penalty.
Mike Ramsey, again, just seeing ice time as a penalty killer, reads the play so well. Not very quick anymore, but very smart defensively.
Once again, the play is broken up, and the final seconds in the Murphy penalty tick away. Quintal for Romanuk. Romanuk checked in against the boards, gets it back again. Rink-wide pass for Emerson. It was too high. And the Penguins back at full strength, knock it out to center ice. Samuelson stops in the corner. Can't clear against Ulanov. Ulanov in front. And Romanuk was unable to reach the centering pass. Boughton now for Steen. It goes off his stick. Stevens looking for Straka. Too far for him, and Ulanov goes back after it in his own zone with 5 seconds remaining in the period. And the Jets clear as the horn sounds to end period 2, with the Penguins leading the Jets 3-2. Let's continue the Gretzky watch and return to Chicago Stadium and Chris Cuthbert.
Well done here in Chicago. There's 12 minutes, 58 seconds to go in the second period, and the Kings with the tying goal from another former Oiler, Charlie Huddy, with his 4th of the year from Conacher and Reichel. 8 shots on goal for the Kings in the game. 6 have come from defensemen, and not one as yet from number 99. And a face-off to the right of Kelly Rudy. And Jim Pack has it for the Kings. Better period so far for the Kings as they've started to take the play more to Chicago. But as yet, Wayne Gretzky without a good scoring chance. And we'll be back to the stadium in Chicago later in the intermission. Right now, back to Don Whitman.
Thank you, Chris. And during our second intermission, Scott Russell will be talking with the Pittsburgh Penguins' Ron Francis.
Welcome back to Winnipeg. 3-2. For the Pittsburgh Penguins over the Jets after 2 periods of play. A shot from Ulf Samuelsson from the point. A nifty tip in by number 10 of the Penguins, Ron Francis, at 9:49. His 21st goal of the season made it 3-1 for the Penguins at that point in time. Winnipeg got to within 1.
Here in Chicago, we've hit the 10-minute mark of the second period. Still 1-1. Blackhawks and Kings. And Wayne Gretzky's second last visit to the old Chicago Stadium. They'll be back here on April 9th to close it out. Here's Gary Shuchuk dropping the long, walking in, long passing, and what a stop by Belfour on Robitaille. And Robitaille's pass is onto the stick of Joe Murphy, headed the other way. Murphy to Rodick to Goulet, and he just backhanded it wide, and a great play at either end. First Belfour, and then Kelly Rudy, who did a great job on Goulet one-on-one. Great goaltending at either end. The rookie Robert Long to Robitaille, and somehow Belfour comes across to rob one of the best goal scorers in the league. And here's Murphy and Roenick setting up Goulet, who ran out of room. There's Marty McSorley conferring with Rudy, and McSorley has played up front for the Kings throughout this game. Barry Melrose wanting his muscle at forward, a position that McSorley did not play with the Penguins this year. Belfour doing some equipment adjusting at the other end. Shots on goal, 18-10 Chicago with 9:26 to go here in the second period. Roenick bumped off the puck, but it comes back to Kuchera. Goulet was in front, but couldn't get the deflection. There's Joe Murphy, who had a chance earlier in this period, walked in, but Gretzky picked his pocket with a great defensive play. Now Zhitnik starts back for Los Angeles. Zhitnik with a shot right on, and it's somewhere under Belfour, who holds on. So it's 1-1 here. Now let's go back to Scott Russell in Winnipeg.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. It is 3-1 for the Buffalo Sabres over the Detroit Red Wings. They are in the third period of play. A very special moment at Joe Louis Arena this afternoon as the Red Wings retired the #1 of their legendary goaltender, Terry Sawchuk. 21 seasons in the National Hockey League with 5 different clubs. Terry Sawchuk, one of the greatest of them all. His lifetime regular season goals against average 2.52 goals against per game. He had in 971 games 103 shutouts. That is an NHL record. And Terry Sawchuk, strangely enough, is a native of Winnipeg, Manitoba. And there is an arena here in Winnipeg named after the legendary Terry Sawchuk, the winner of 4 Stanley Cups, 3 with the Detroit Red Wings, 1 with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's 1-1 LA and Chicago, 3-2 for the Penguins over the Jets. Stay tuned for more on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Back to the stadium in Chicago, where the Hawks and Kings are tied at 1, and Krivokrasov with a great scoring chance there, looking for his first NHL goal, but now the Kings break out. McReynolds a lead pass for Shuchuk too far, and Belfour around the boards. There's Jeff Shantz to another rookie, Krivokrasov. Shantz following up, and at the line it's called on the offside. 8:18 to go here in the second period. Los Angeles Kings and Barry Melrose looking for just their second win in the last 12 games. 5 points out of a playoff spot in the Western Conference. The Hawks tied for 7th in the Western Conference with Vancouver and are getting hot again. They've won 4 and tied 1 of their last 6. Barry Melrose has had plenty of offensive production this year. His team 5th offensively, but 3rd last defensively. Gretzky back on the ice with Donnelly and Curry. Here's Brian Noonan with a shot kicked out by Rudy. Stefan Matteau, the goal scorer for Chicago, and Gretzky was there. Cut off the pass, Huddy around the boards, and there's Donnelly to Gretzky with Curry as they hit the line. Back to Gretzky, back to Curry, and the Hawks covered that well. Now the puck flipped over the glass and out of play, but this line of Gretzky, Curry, and Donnelly has been unable to get untracked so far this afternoon. Gretzky stuck at 798. And if not today, it still could come against Chicago. They play the Blackhawks on Wednesday as Bruce McNall looks on. .749 to go in the second period at Chicago. Kings go home for a 4-game homestand, and the Blackhawks will head on the road. Anaheim on Tuesday night in a neutral site game at Phoenix before playing a Wednesday night game in Los Angeles. Here's Luc Robitaille, cross ice to Huddy. The goal scorer for Los Angeles drifts it in. Chris Chelios has not returned to the game, and that's bad news for the Hawks, who already have Steve Smith out with a broken leg, and Eric Weinrich, another defenseman, who is on the injury list with a broken jaw. 7.5 minutes to go here in the second period. A 1-1 tie as we return to Scott Russell.
All right, Chris, Wayne Gretzky never scored against Ed Belfour. Next Saturday on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC, 2 games coast to coast. Philadelphia as at Montreal to take on the Stanley Cup champions, and these same Winnipeg Jets make the trip to Toronto to take on the Leafs. That is a Central Division matchup. That's next Saturday at 8 Eastern on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. It's 3-2 for the Penguins over the Jets. Stay tuned for more in just a moment.
Play up the line to keep it in. Now he's rolled it along the boards and poked it into the corner.
We're back in Winnipeg with an update from Chicago Stadium. It's a 1-1 tie, the Kings and the Hawks, until Jocelyn Lemieux takes the puck and fires it past Kelly Rudy for his 11th goal of the season. That makes it 2-1 for the Hawks. Right now, let's send to Chris Cuthbert for live action.
Well, Scott, a great play by Christian Ruutu to set up the goal. Here's Gretzky to Sador, and Belfour got a piece of that as Matteau turns at the end of a shift for this line with Gretzky and Curry, but Gretzky will stay out as Roenick on the puck for Chicago. Charlie Huddy knocks him down. Huddy stays with it. Now Rich Sutter can't get it for Chicago, and Gretzky up to Reichel, and here's Gretzky again with Sador as they hit the line. Daryl Sador in for 99. Reichel's in front. Gretzky puts it in front. There's the shot off a skate. And Lemieux is able to clear out to center. 4:40 to go here, second period. Still 2-1 Chicago. Here's Don Whitman in Winnipeg.
Thank you, Chris. And at the Winnipeg Arena, the Pittsburgh Penguins lead the Winnipeg Jets 3-2 starting the third period. The Winnipeg Jets have only won one hockey game this year when trailing after 40 minutes of play, and that was when they came from behind on January the 12th to beat the Buffalo Sabres. Greg Brown, with his first goal since being called up from San Diego, made it 2-1 Pittsburgh at the 5:15 mark. And then in the power play, Ron Francis with his 21st gave the Penguins a 3-1 lead, but Darren Shannon got his 14th on a late power play goal for the Winnipeg Jets, who trailed the Penguins 3-2 with the third period 11 seconds old.
Shots on goal in that period, 17-7, but most of those shots came in the first 15 minutes. And the Jets, after that goal, really picked it up and started to carry the play to the Penguins.
Samuelson has it at the point. He lets the shot go, and a glove save by Mike O'Neill.
Again, the Jets on the faceoffs having problems in their own zone. Randy Gillen against Martin Straka goes right back. And the shot from Samuelson, Mike O'Neill, clear sight lines. He's out well to cut down the angle, reaches up with the left hand and makes the save. Could see it all the way. Gillen takes his man, and O'Neill makes the save.
Again, the draw comes back to Samuelson. Another shot is blocked by Ulanov before it gets to the net. Ahead to Zhamnov. He tried to chop it up to Tkachuk, but it's picked off by Samuelson. Quintal plays it to an open wing. Samuelson will get back there ahead of Alexei Zhamnov. Kjell Samuelson and Ulf Samuelson have been about the only consistent pairing the last little while for the Penguins back on the blue line. Coach Ed Johnson has opted to mix up his other rear guards and in fact has dressed 7 for this afternoon's game.
Igor Ulanov gets the whistle. You talked to John Paddock about his Winnipeg Jets and trying to change the complexion for next year, and he feels that he'll have Teppo Numminen and then one other of his European-type players. And you look at Ulanov, Boughton, and Boris Mironov, and which one of those three would you keep? Ulanov tries hard, but he seems to make the same mistakes game in and game out. That loves that pass up the middle.
Well, Paddock has said that he's willing to live with some of those mistakes by Ulanov because he has the ability to play a physical game. And that's something that the Jets have been missing back on their blue line. defensemen who are willing to mix it up physically.
Wayne McBean has the puck underneath his body. Pittsburgh Penguins using Ronnie Francis and Larry Murphy a lot the first period. 8 minutes. Same in the second for Ronnie Francis. 17 shifts for Larry Murphy. Keith Tkachuk, the key for the Jets, played very well. And Alexei Zhamnov has had 20 shifts. And Zhamnov tonight has been guilty of that no-shoot complex, trying to make too many plays in tight.
Romanek keeps it in. Stevens along the boards, takes a hit, but manages to clear. Taglianetti tries a lead pass up the middle intended for Francis. Too far for him, and back after it goes Dean Kennedy. Steen knocks it in front of his own net. Kennedy can't handle it. Francis flips it back of the net. Clearing attempt picked off by Taglianetti. Mullen is knocked down by Kennedy at the side of the net, but Stevens picks up the puck. Thomas Steen has it again. Over to Kennedy. He starts away with LeBlanc. A shoot-in is blocked at the line by Taglianetti. Murphy moves it ahead to Daniels. He's checked. Romanek leaves it there for Zhamnov. Zhamnov stopped at the line. Good play by Murphy to take the puck away from him. Some of these turnovers that the Jets have made have been as the result of behind-the-back passes coming out of their own zone.
And in that gray area, just inside the blue line.
Freed for Brown. His shot blocked by O'Neill. Brown scored the first goal of the game. That's Doug Brown. Greg Brown got the second for Pittsburgh. Aronoff has problems controlling it. Checked by Daniels, who flips it back into Winnipeg territory. Boughton goes back after it. Rink-wide pass, a dangerous type of pass against the forechecking of Brown, but Shannon is able to move it into Pittsburgh territory. Now Shannon has it. Shannon looks for someone to give it to. The Jets were in the process of making a change. Here's Quintel with a shot. It goes wide. Shannon can't reach it. It goes all the way down the ice. Ulanoff and Straka race after it. Ulanoff manages to get there ahead of the fast skating Pittsburgh center.
Again, Ken Reggett coughing that puck up in his own zone and creating a good chance for the Jets.
King steals, can't get a shot away as he was checked by Ulf Samuelsson. Puck is knocked down on a shoot-in attempt by Quintel. Samuelsson gets another chance. This time the shot is right on. 16:20 remaining in the third. The Penguins lead 3-2. Ulanoff to Gillen. He can't handle it. Back comes Shell Samuelsson to Jagger. Jagger in the slot. Doesn't take a shot, and the Jets start back. Ty Domi working against Taglianetti. Gillen and King trying to catch up to the play. Domi back of the net. Centers it. Gillen jams away at it, and Reggett got his skate over to the post just in time to prevent it from slipping across the line.
Reggett had trouble finding that puck, and Gillen had a little time, couldn't pull it out and get a shot away.
McBean starts back for Winnipeg. Emerson races after the shoot-in. He gets to it ahead of Taglianetti for Zhamnov. Zhamnov tried to center. Knocked away by Reggett. Zhamnov again trying to center. It's blocked, and the puck is flipped out of play. With the Hockey Night in Canada update, here's Scott Russell.
Don, the LA Kings are looking for goals at Chicago Stadium. None from Gretzky so far. Robert Long behind the net. Rebound comes to Luc Robitaille, and he just jams it past Eddie Bell for his 37th of the year. It is now 2-2, the Kings in Chicago. Don?
Well, it looks as though Luc Robitaille is going to have another 40-goal-plus season.
It's amazing, you know, you talk about Luc Robitaille and that ability around the net. He always is there for the rebounds and always gets his stick on those pucks no matter where they are.
Zhamnov wins the draw to McBean. McBean trying to get into position. Lets the shot go. Knocked down in front of the net, and it's cleared by Ulf Samuelsson. This will be an icing call against Pittsburgh with 15:13 remaining in the period. And now we take our Hockey Night in Canada cameras to Chicago. Here's Chris Cuthbert.
Well, Don, here 36 seconds left in the second period, a 2-2 tie. Wayne Gretzky just coming off his best shift of the game, set up 3 great scoring chances. Curry blasted one wide. Donnelly was robbed by Belfour on another, and then Alexei Zhitnik hit the goalpost. So Gretzky with his best shift of the game so far as the Gretzky watch continues. Now back to Winnipeg.
And here the Pittsburgh Penguins lead the Jets 3-2 with 15-13 left in the third. Francis did a good job of tying up Zhamnov in the face-off circle. Ramsey, lead pass for Mullen. He had to take it on his skates, gets it back to Greg Brown. He shoots it in wide of the Winnipeg net. McBean tried to clear. Got caught up in the equipment of Ramsey, taken away from him, and back comes Tkachuk. Tkachuk looking to center, shoots instead, and Reget kicks that one to the corner. And there's a penalty on the play with 14:47 remaining in the third. This game is coming to you from the Winnipeg Arena.
Greg Brown complained about this call. It's the wrong guy. Ron Francis reached from behind and hooks Zhamnov down. Francis is number 10, hooks Zhamnov, down he goes, and Greg Brown gets accused of interference away from the play. And it helps the Penguins because now Ron Francis can go out and kill off this penalty.
13,009 watching the action at the Winnipeg Arena this Sunday afternoon. Back to McBean. McBean moves in from the point to Shannon, back to Zhamnov. To Shannon. Return pass to Zhamnov. McBean to Zhamnov. Zhamnov fakes it, gives it to McBean. There's a shot. Rebound. Bounces away from Emerson. McBean keeps it in. Over to Zhamnov. He couldn't pick up the pass initially. Now he has it. To McBean. Over to Zhamnov. For one-timer, he scores!
Ken Reget is complaining.
I think Reget felt he was interfered with by either Shannon or Tkachuk in front of the net.
Keith Tkachuk is in front with Samuelson. The shot comes through, and Reget immediately went after referee Ron Hogarth. Alexei Zhamnov didn't fool around with this one. He just let it go. Tkachuk and Samuelson in front of Reget. Samuelson pushes Tkachuk, and he can't get across. Reget is outside the crease. Samuelson, Reget is outside the crease. Tkachuk comes through. Shot from Zhamnov beats him.
So Alexei Zhamnov with his 23rd goal on the power play has tied it for the Winnipeg Jets.
Power play comes through because guys going to the net. Keith Tkachuk, tap Ken Reget, creates a little opening, and Zhamnov cashes in.
Quintal flips it up on the boards, and Taglianetti goes back after it. For Jagger, he couldn't control. Romanek backhands it to the corner. LeBlanc had been knocked down by Murphy. Still managed to move the puck, but now the Penguins bring it out. Murphy is checked by Steen. LeBlanc takes a hit along the boards from Taglianetti. Sandstrom goes back after it, cuts in front of his own net, and Romanek almost knocked it off his stick.
Ken Reget, wide awake, was right there to make the save.
Taglianetti shoot into the corner for Quintal, and this is an icing call against Pittsburgh with 13:25 remaining in the third, and the game tied at 3.
Thomas Sandstrom cuts right in front of his own net. Ken Reget forced to make the save. He had lots of room to go in behind. LA, Chicago tied. Calgary trying to break out of a road slump. Tied in Washington into overtime, and the Buffalo Sabres on the road. Grant Fuhr came into that one early. They're ahead of Detroit.
Francis tries to clear. Picked up by Samuelson. Play is broken up by Marinoff. On the Winnipeg goal, the Jamnov goal, McBean and Shannon drew the assist. Samuelson flips it around the boards for Mullen. Mullen throws it rink wide. It's beyond the reach of Francis. King over skates. Stevens has it now. Stevens takes a hit in the corner from Marinoff. Centering attempt picked off by the Jets. Moved ahead to King. He skates away with Domi on his right. King works to the corner against Shell Samuelson. Ulf Samuelson picks it up for Francis. Francis can't go anywhere with it as Jamnov is back, and behind the play, Domi is down, and it appeared as though he may have been speared by Samuelson.
And Chris King comes in and gives him a little shot from behind. And Ty Domi gets up. Domi comes in after the pass, and Samuelson gives Domi the jab as Domi comes in for the hit. Oh, Samuelson with the stick right there catches Ty Domi. And Ron Hogarth is right there. The arm stays down by his side, and Ty Domi doesn't like that call one little bit, that lack of call.
Domi skates over to have a few words with referee Hogarth.
Most hated guy in the NHL, would you say? I remember there was times when there would be a battle. Tony Granato was one of the guys, and Ulf Samuelson, I think, has been the leader in the last 3 or 4 years. The stick right in the midsection of Ty Domi broke the blade off, and yet Ron Hogarth doesn't make the call.
Ty Domi still has something to say to Hogarth, but the referee is not paying any attention, and a look of innocence on the face of Ulf Samuelson.
Yes, he does, and Tkachuk's got the stick. He's got the broken stick as Randy Mitten is taking it to the penalty bench, and Tkachuk was showing Ron Hogarth the stick. Did he break it on that long lead pass? I don't think so.
Well, Ty Domi had a legitimate complaint about the non-penalty call there.
John Paddock was standing up on the bench, and Ty Domi looks to be all right now. And John Paddock checking to make sure that he's all right. Now you have to be careful in a 3-3 tie that your team doesn't go out and try and take justice into its own hands. You want to try and win the game first and then get a little revenge.
Well, Ty Domi is one who would certainly try and avenge that stick foul that went undetected. Pass for Shannon. Shannon centers it to Jamnov, and that may have gone off the post. Isabart got back into his own zone to break up a long lead.
Well, another great chance. Ron Hogarth now is talking to Keith Tkachuk and Ronnie Francis, warning the bench as he went right over to the Winnipeg bench and waved his arms and said, okay, I've had enough. No more. Jamnov on the pass from Darren Shannon. Shannon's had a great game. Takes the shot. Reggett comes over. Read the play very well. Gets a piece of it. And it just misses. Jamnov shaking his head on that one.
Jamnov was injured on the 27th of December in Edmonton. He missed 8 games. And after his return, he was not nearly as productive as the Winnipeg Jets had anticipated he would be. Prior to the injury, he was among the top 10 in scoring. He was on a real tear just prior to Christmas.
And I think without Teemu Selanne, he felt that, okay, he could just be ordinary. Well, for the Jets to be successful, he can't be ordinary. He has to be one of the stars.
Mountain gets the puck from the face-off, can't clear. Murphy's shot saved. The loose puck comes out in front. And the Penguins, Brown can't keep it in the zone initially. Now Tkachuk has it for Winnipeg. Tkachuk for Emerson. He got turned around. Goes into the corner after it. Tried to leave it there, and it's picked off by the Penguins. They can't get it out. Tkachuk goes after it again. He takes a bump from Taglianetti. Steen reaching out with one hand, unable to control it. Mironov pinches in. Penguins having problems trying to get out of the zone against the forechecking of the Jets. Tkachuk is knocked down, and now the Penguins start away, led by Doug Brown. To Murphy. Murphy gets to the line to Daniels. Daniels trying to go wide. A backhand shot off the side of the net. Murphy has it at the line. Murphy shot. They score. Deflected in front. Doug Brown may have got a stick on it.
I think it was Jeff Daniels who was being all tied up by Sergei Boughton. The Jets, problems in their own zone again. Point men not covered. The Jets collapse deep. Chance to get it out. Can't get it out. Shot from Murphy. Bowden does a good job. He's all tied up. But Daniels is there. Brown is there. The shot from Murphy. Doug Brown. Off O'Neill. Great eyes, Whit. I have to congratulate you on that one. Doug Brown there on the forehead. Dipping it up and past Mike O'Neill.
If it is Doug Brown, it will be his second of the game. And I mentioned earlier that he is having a career season. His previous best was 15 goals. That's his 17th. And now we've got Jennings and Domi going at it. And now Domi manages to free a hand, but Jennings throws him to the ice. And in our mobile unit, I understand we have all this on an isolated camera, so we can see how the scrap between Domi and Jennings began.
Ty Domi has that little finger frozen before every game. He can't grip his stick. He lost the nail on a shot that he came through in practice and caught a stick.
He took a shot underneath the eye as well, and he is cut below the eye.
And he's heading to the dressing room for repairs. Grant Jennings is a tough guy, came from Hartford, the Samuelson deal. He and Domi. Jennings is quite willing to go. Off comes the gloves. And Jennings was ready, willing, and able.
So Ty Domi picks up a penalty and also goes to the Winnipeg dressing room for some repairs. But Ty Domi's unhappiness in this hockey game really wasn't with Grant Jennings so much as this man, Ulf Samuelsson, who speared him earlier in the period.
You know you're not going to be able to get Ulf Samuelsson to drop the gloves. Ty Domi looked for somebody who would, and that was Grant Jennings.
Doug Brown for Murphy of 9:16, the goal for Pittsburgh that has moved the Penguins into a 4-3 lead. Quintal's long shot kicked to the corner by Ken Reagan. Sandstrom is checked. The puck goes loose in the Winnipeg corner. Ulanoff fires it around the boards for Shannon. Shannon is checked. He gets it back again, flips it towards the net. Reagan tees it up there for Ulf Samuelsson. Lead pass for Jagger. He had problems handling it and is forced to circle back into his own zone. He wheels away from Isobar. For Straka, back to Jagger. Jagger's shot hit the side of the net. Sandstrom gets it loose along the boards. Into the corner for Straka. Straka avoids a check. He leaves it in the corner for Jagger. Jagger shoots. Sandstrom was in front of the net, but he was tied up by Quintal. Jagger gets it again. He's checked by Zhamnov. Now bumped by Zhamnov along the boards. And with some help from Ulanoff, the Jets finally clear the zone. 9:25 remaining in the third. 4-3 Pittsburgh leads. I mentioned that the Winnipeg Jets have only won a hockey game coming from behind once this year when trailing after 2 periods. Pittsburgh has only lost once this year when leading after 2 periods.
It's hard when you don't score many goals, and the Jets don't have that big firepower to come back in the third period.
Yeah, last year at this time when John Paddock looked at his bench, he had a guy with 56 goals sitting there in the person of Teemu Selanne, the Rookie of the Year and the man who broke Mike Bossy's rookie record. But Selanne is gone for the balance of the season with an Achilles tendon injury.
Tie between the Hawks and Kings. Wayne Gretzky still awaiting his first goal and first point in this game. Now let's go back to Winnipeg. Here again, Don Whitman.
And here at the Winnipeg Arena, 4-3, the Penguins lead. Ed Johnson has really shortened his bench for Pittsburgh in the third period, and he's been doing that a fair bit this season.
Able to do it with all the extra timeouts, and without Mario, you have to look to guys to really step up their game. Ronnie Francis has been very good, Joe Mullen, but how about Jaromir Jagr or Kevin Stevens? Both those players today haven't been very good.
McEachran's shot goes over top of the net. Stevens battles with Kennedy. They tie each other up. It's taken by Steen. Lead pass for Romanek. He can't control it. And Doug Brown, who has scored twice, redirects it into the Winnipeg zone and then goes to the bench as the Penguins make a change. In the neutral zone, Stevens has the puck. Shoots it into Winnipeg territory, and it's left there for Kennedy. Being watched by Stevens. Along the boards for Jamnov. Tied up by Francis. Hogarth waits for them to try and move it, and finally they do. Stevens for Francis. Francis had it deflected away from him by Jamnov. Now Jamnov moves it up to Emerson. Emerson back to McBean, who jumped up in the play. He tried to wind up and let his shot go. Checked from behind by Ron Francis. Good defensive play by Francis.
Your leading scorer is also your best defensive player. It really helps Ron Francis doing the job at both ends.
7:03 remaining in the hockey game. Pittsburgh leading 4-3. They came into the period with a 3-2 advantage, but the Jets scored their third power play goal of the hockey game to tie it before Doug Brown got his second to restore the Penguins' one-goal advantage. A lot of play in the neutral zone now as the Penguins are not providing the Jets with much skating room. Ramsey took a backhanded swipe at the puck and knocked it up into the stands and out of play with 6:34 remaining in the third period. The executive producer of Hockey Night in Canada is Ron Harrison. The producer of this afternoon's game is Mark Askin. Jim Marshall is our director. Paul McKeegan is in charge of isolation. Denise Chorney, the assistant to the producer, and these are the other people who have made a major contribution in bringing our Sunday afternoon coverage of this Winnipeg-Pittsburgh game into your homes.
Pittsburgh Penguins doing the job defensively, and we've seen Mike Ramsey come on the ice now. Up until this time, he's just been used as a penalty killer. Late in the game with a one-goal lead, he's out there again.
Jagr dodges a hit from Ulanov. Quintal picks up the puck. Quintal can't get out of his own zone, but Thomas Steen, following up in the play, gathers in the puck and gets it back to Ulanov. Ulanov with a behind-the-back pass in his own zone, and I'm sure every time he does something like that, John Paddock has to shudder.
Standing at the blue line with four guys in front of him, and he still makes that dangerous behind-the-back pass.
Igor Ulanov still looking for his first goal of this season, and that's been one of the problems the Jets have had. In previous years, they have had so much production from their blue line core.
Craig Hassinger missed the game in Minnesota as his second son was born. We'd like to congratulate Craig Hassinger and his lovely wife, Vicki. McKinley weighed in at 7.7 pounds on Wednesday, and Craig said his son, Jake, who was just turning 2, he was just starting to get a full night's sleep, and now he's back to that 4-hour shift.
Well, his nickname is Zinger, and there's no one quicker in the league with a one-liner than Craig Eisinger, the equipment manager of the Winnipeg Jets. Lead pass too far for McEachran. McEachran tried to get it out front. It does come out front for Brown, and he is robbed of his try for a hat-trick goal by Mike O'Neill. Randy Gillen wheels and fires it into Pittsburgh territory as Murphy goes back into his own end after it. 5:20 remaining in the third period. The Penguins leading by a score of 4-3. Ulanoff moves it along the boards. LeBlanc can't handle it. Samuelson dodges a hit from Romanuk. Ulanoff tries to come out the other side now for Jamnoff. Rink-wide pass beyond the reach of Quintal. The Winnipeg defenseman gets it again and shoots it in. LeBlanc races after it. Jamnoff checked by Francis along the boards. LeBlanc is there as well. Francis is persistent with Mullen, but LeBlanc comes up with it in front for Romanuk. He can't get a shot away. Ulanoff at the line, flips it over to Quintal. Quintal is checked by Mullen, and the puck is knocked out to center ice by Stevens. Stevens is tired. He wants a change. Ahead to Jamnoff. His shot is high off the glass. Sandstrom simply flips it down the ice. Ulanoff is back after it for Winnipeg. Banks it off the boards. It's loose at center ice, and Straka has it. For a moment, nobody seemed to be sure where the puck was as it hit linesman Randy Mitten. Well, our crew at the Women's World Cup downhill in Whistler will continue the Gretzky watch from Chicago Stadium, and if number 99 does move closer to Gordie Howe, we will have an update for you. Taking a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, the Blackhawks and the Kings are tied at 2 in the third. A final 4-4, Calgary and Washington.
Come from behind tie for the Flames. They lost their first 3 on this 4-game trip, and a big point coming back in Washington.
Ty Domi back in the ice after serving the penalty and having some repair work done following his battle with Jennings. Jagger goes rink wide. Ramsey picks it up off the boards, manages to knock it past McBean. Winnipeg's Mironov gets to it first. Shannon for McBean, and again another of those cross-ice passes in their own zone by a member of the Jets. McBean for Shannon. Shannon flips it in too far for Domi. Domi takes Taglianetti in against the boards. Shannon gets it back to the line. Mironov's shot goes wide. Clearing attempt stopped at the blue line, but finally the Penguins do get it out. And Eddie Johnson makes another line change with some action taking place on that change directly in front of the Pittsburgh bench. 2:50 remaining in the third period. Jamnoff has it over for Emerson. Emerson shoots, fires it wide. Knocked down the ice by Daniels, but Ulanoff gets there first. Tkachuk had to let it go, or it would have been an offside pass. Pittsburgh leading by a score of 4-3. Quintal for Emerson. Emerson drops it to Tkachuk. He shoots, saved by Reagan. 2:11 remaining. Long shot by Ulanoff, steered to the corner. Following the game, I think Doug Brown might be a candidate as one of our 3-star selections.
He's played very well. Coming over from New Jersey, where he didn't ever get a chance to play on the power play, didn't kill penalties, was a fourth-line player, and Eddie Johnson has shown a lot of confidence in Doug Brown, and he's responded. Ron Francis talked to Scott about the difference in Eddie Johnson, and players really appreciate his attitude. Stefan Quintal and Ken Reggett make sure that they get the whistle. Quintal touched the inside post, and Reggett, a Brandon native, chips the net up and up. We talked about the way Reggett handles the puck. He's not very good, but when you play behind Tom Barrasso, the defense get used to one of the best puck-handling goaltenders in the league, and then you go in and you're not that great. It makes you seem even worse.
Well, this is the first start for Ken Reggett since February 12th when he was hammered 9-3 by the Dallas Stars.
When Barrasso was hurt, the Penguins credit Reggett for their continued success. He played very well in that stretch when Barrasso was out with that knee problem.
Francis against Steen. The Winnipeg net is empty. The extra attacker out there. 41.5 seconds remaining. Steen very good with his feet. Got the puck back to the point. Tkachuk has it. Now McBean lets the shot go. The puck in front. Steen couldn't get a shot away. And Mullen banks it off the boards. Picked up by Francis, and Francis scores. McBean got back to it in the race for the puck. It looked for a moment as though that bank shot of Mullen might find the net.
But none of the other Jets came back. McBean beat McEachern, who is a great skater, to the puck. But none of the other Jets recognized danger. Ron Francis jumped up into the play, saw a chance. McBean comes back. Where are the rest of the Jets? Nobody's there. McBean just shoves it up the middle, and Ron Francis has all day, waits for McBean to go by and slides it into the corner.
Well, you talk about the where are the Winnipeg Jets. Even after Francis scored, there was still not another member of the Jets in the picture.
That's the way they play when they have the power play, and why they've given up so many short-handed goals is they don't recognize danger and come back defensively.
This is the identical score to the first meeting of the season on the 15th of February in Pittsburgh. The Penguins won that night 5-3, and with the empty netter by Ron Francis, they now lead 5-3, and it looks as though that's the way it will end as the final seconds in the hockey game tick away. So the Winnipeg Jets' three-game undefeated streak comes to an end with their 5-3 loss to the Penguins this afternoon.
And they played much better, the Jets did, than they have been in their slump. At least they gave it a good effort, came back in the third period, tied it up. They play 7 of their next 8 at home. Their only road trip is in Toronto, and they have something to build on.
So the Pittsburgh Penguins wind up with a 5-3 victory, and in just a moment we'll have the Molson 3-star selection.
In Winnipeg, the 3 stars in a 5-3 victory for the Pittsburgh Penguins over the Winnipeg Jets. The 3rd star, Ron Francis, goals number 21 and 22 for the Penguin leader. The 2nd star, Darren Shannon, had his 14th for the Jets. He's been very consistent, but Doug Brown scored 2 today, 16 and 17, a career season for him to lead the Penguins to a 5-3 victory over the Winnipeg Jets. Stay tuned for more on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. Welcome back to a beautiful prairie afternoon in Winnipeg, Manitoba. 2-2 Los Angeles and Chicago. They're in the 3rd at the stadium. A 5-3 final for the Pittsburgh Penguins over the Winnipeg Jets here. So the Winnipeg Jets' short-lived 3-game undefeated streak is over. They have now won only 2 games in their last 22. A good game for the Jets this afternoon, but their struggle continues. That's for Pittsburgh. They retake 2nd place in the Northeast Division of the NHL over the Buffalo Sabres, who also won today 3-2 over the Detroit Red Wings. In Chicago, Wayne Gretzky hasn't had many chances today. Here is the one shot that the great one did have on net. He busts in on the left wing, fires the shot. It is a shorthanded chance, but Eddie Belfour, who he's never scored on, gets the leg out to stop Wayne Gretzky. Right now, let's send you live to Chicago and Chris Cuthbert.
And Scott, as we join you live, Michel Goulet taken down in front. Looked like a good scoring chance, and the Hawk fans respond because no penalty called on the play. And there's Chris Chelios back in the lineup for Chicago. X-rays negative, and he has been back in for the 3rd period. And that whistling shot kicked away by Rudy. So great news for the Blackhawks, who are already very thin on defense with the injuries to Weinrich and Steve Smith, but they have not lost their captain, who's been stitched up over the right eye. Here's Alexei Zhitnik for Los Angeles. Kearney watching him. A 2-2 tie. Pass in the slot and a shot right on. Stopped by Belfour. And now it's Christian Ruutu back. Blake breaks that up. And Zhitnik will turn. Lemieux keeps it in the zone. Zhitnik again with it, being watched by Rich Sutters. Clears it around the boards. There's Ruutu, Christian Ruutu, who set up the second Chicago goal to Rich Sutter, knocked down. And Brian McReynolds flips it down the ice. Shots are 35-17 in favor of Chicago. Kelly Rudy has been very sharp in the Los Angeles goal. And Charlie Huddy touches that, and icing is the call against Chicago. So the Kings trying to break the road woes that have really cost this team this year. A record of 8-21-5 away from home. And there is Goulet's chance, and being taken down on the play. At the other end, Kearney watching Zhitnik, who centered in front, but not many scoring chances for the Kings forwards today. Most of the good shots have been from the point men, and Charlie Huddy has a goal for Los Angeles. Matteau is out with Brent Sutter and Brian Noonan. And there's Cam Russell. Pile up in front of the Chicago bench, and the Kings get it over the line. Druce with Robitaille and Long, and a weak shot handled easily by Belfour, who holds on for a faceoff. Well, Wayne Gretzky has figured in on 48% of the scoring this year for the Los Angeles Kings, but has yet to score a goal against this man, Ed Belfour, and he has not been able to hit the score sheet so far this afternoon. Belfour's been beaten by Charlie Huddy and Luc Robitaille. Matteau, and Lemieux, the goal scorers for Chicago. John Druce has been one of the hottest Kings of late. So a 2-2 tie here in Chicago with 10 minutes and 45 seconds to go, and Wayne Gretzky still at 798 goals and 3 shy of Gordie Howe. It looks like the record will be broken sometime in the week to come in Los Angeles as we head back to Scott Russell.
And Chris, the Gretzky watch continues. 7:98 to Howe's 8:01. It is 2-2, the Kings and the Blackhawks. They are in the third period of play, as you saw. Final to tell you about in Washington at the US Air Arena. The Calgary Flames 4-4 with the Washington Capitals in overtime. The Flames are struggling just a bit. They've lost 4 of their last 6 games. And in Detroit today at Joe Louis Arena, they retired the sweater of legendary goaltender Terry Sawchuk, but the Red Wings couldn't pull out a victory. They lose 3-2 to Buffalo. Once again, the final here, Pittsburgh 5-3 over the Winnipeg Jets. Doug Brown, the hero for the Penguins, with 2 goals. We're back with more on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC in just a moment.